Shima, it's great to see you again. And backed by popular demand, I think it's time we had another little chat. But let's change the subject today to something a little bit more different because the Akashic records and the past life memories thing has gone bananas. But let people sit with that because they need time to absorb it. But we've got another subject I wanted to talk to you today about, which I know that you've been on your own personal journey, and I've had some experience with this as well, which is child autism because it's a subject I'm very passionate about. I've been actually looking into this for several years. And I thought, you know what? You've become quite an expert because of your personal journey with your daughter. So I think it's time to share what you know, what I know with the public, because there's so many people that need help with this particular subject. I think it's
Mhm.
time we had a little chat about it. What do you think? Are you okay to talk about that today?
Absolutely. So thank you, David, for having me here again. And thank you, everybody, for joining us to watch another episode of this round table. Basically, today we are going to talk about the neurodiversity. Is a term we are hearing every single day from different people, and the number of the children or even adults that are diagnosed with autism, ADHD, dyslexia, I don't know, many type of different neurological issues and basically neurological difficulties is rising, and there is no real statistic on the number of these children. I was actually doing some research, and the statistics that is there is actually very inaccurate. When you
Hmm.
go to the schools and when you go to the places, you see that every day more children or more adult or more in their teenage ages are getting this kind of diagnostic. But
Yeah,
the statistic is saying something really small to really avoid this and avoid the light that these kind of special people, which I call them gifted ones, are bringing to our planet. So we are going to shed light on that to see what are their hidden abilities and what Akashic records say about this, what the soul and consciousness of these children wants to deliver to the world. As myself being the mother of one neurodivergent, highly gifted child who is going to turn 5 years old now, I have been through a lot of challenges navigating her growth, but also I have been channeling constantly from her soul what teachings she's bringing to this planet. And today we are going to talk about that topic.
yeah, it's absolutely. I'm looking forward to it. But let's establish what's going on because 25 years ago, hardly anybody had heard the word autism. And
Mm.
yes, there's been some movies. Dustin Hoffman played Rayman with Tom Cruise. That was quite a popular thing. And there's been several Hollywood movies where they've just shown adults. They can count cards. They have special mathematic abilities. They can see patterns in numbers. There have been films out there. Bruce Willis did another one where the little boy could see patterns in numbers. But the statistics have been climbing. I've done some research as well since 1975 all the way up to 2025. The numbers are shockingly more are climbing at an alarmingly high rate. So this a lot of people can say, well, that's because they didn't understand it, they didn't record it, they weren't able to link it. Like I know we talked earlier, you're talking about the schools and the government systems don't really record it because do they really consider it something serious? But I think the level of difficulty in a lot of these kids that in their early part of their lives integrating in a social network with other children, this is now becoming more and more present because there's more and more kids out there that have it. Because before it's like it's one of those things when you all of a sudden buy a red BMW, you've never seen one, but when you buy one, they're everywhere. And I think it's becoming more and more prevalent this. Now, my particular experience, I'm 55 now, and I was never diagnosed at school as having dyslexia. I only found out when I was about 20, and it was purely by accident. So I went through all of my educational system with my teachers and teaching assistants, thinking I was very low intelligence. I couldn't put, basic sentences. Well, I could, but I still struggle today with numbers. If I'm trying to write down a number or do a bank transfer, I'm very careful because I will make a mistake. B's and D's get mixed up, ones and sevens get mixed up. They all become a blur. But in my experience, Shima, it's become a lot more obvious that there's two problems here. There's a lot more of these specialized children out there, and B, they're not getting the identification that they have, and they're getting mislabeled, I think, as being, some form of brain development issue where the kids were they dropped on their head as a baby? No, because I know your daughter is very talented, but she is in a range of the spectrum, which is often very challenging. But we have to identify there's a lot more of them and identify the mislabeling of them, what the actual issue they have or the special skills they have needs to be more identified and explained to parents. Yeah.
Absolutely, yes. As you mentioned it correctly, there are a lot of them that are mislabeled, and a lot of them that are not receiving the right help that they need, And even once you receive a label, at some moment can be a sensation of relief, because I have been speaking with many mothers that their children at older age are diagnosed with autism or ADHD or something else. And all of a sudden, it makes sense for them why the children have been always different and difficult. First of all, we need to understand that no two children are the same. If you're parents and have 2 kids or 3 kids at home, you understand that each of them are completely different, even coming from the same background, same parents, same culture, same upbringing. Each soul is different and bring with themselves a different blueprint. We mistakenly are here thinking that we are going to educate and teach something to these kids. And we need to drop that expectation and change our role, understanding that they are our teachers and we are the students. So open yourself to learn from them, because these children are highly gifted, highly sensitive, and they are here to teach us. I knew about this for my own personal experience, because when I was pregnant with my daughter, I often had telepathic communication with her. And telepathic communication, many of them was talking about the future events, which was amazing, or a lot of dreams. And this soul came to me in a channeling session. Actually, my first book, Infinite Love, was channeled by her. This is the source of the infinite love, who brought this teaching to this world, not only to my life. And once she contacted me and my ex-partner, that she chose us to come as our child, as our daughter to this life. And we accepted. We didn't have any plan to become parents. And in a week time, I was pregnant. During the pregnancy, I learned a lot about the business of giving birth. The whole business around giving birth, at taking women, and all the crime that is happening on women at hospitals is by itself a whole different topic that I would love to have another talk about it, because I say always, if you want to bring peace to the planet Earth, you need to start by having peace at birth. The way we are giving birth is very brutal. The way we are taking the children out and we are slapping them and we are vaccinating them and we are separating them from the kids and the parents, and we wash them. And it's so much violation on the mother and on the child. But when we come out of that room, we cannot talk. Do you think we have the energy to go and complain and go to the court? And the pharmaceutical industry is highly protected. Nobody's voice gets to nowhere. There are billions of cases. And when I was pregnant, I was studying all these cases, becoming aware, first of all, why women should give birth like being on a chair completely locked with their hands, that they are giving, like there is a injection in their hands, or they are being connected to the machines, and they are having like their back on the floor. And what kind of a position is that for giving birth? And that all the history behind that is very interesting. If you want to learn about it, I would just suggest you to Google a little bit, because I don't want to go that much of the time of today on giving birth experience. But the crime that is happening actually is one of the reasons why children are having neurological issues. And in my own experience, I knew that I don't want to have a hospital experience. But in Spain, home birth is not supported. So they don't give you a certificate of birth if your child is born at home. So I had to find midwives during the COVID time where everything was very restricted. And I had a home birth plan. Now, my daughter after 42 weeks wasn't born. And I ended up at hospital. Ending up at hospital, there was so many mistakes happened from the moment I arrived by the midwife in the hospital that caused a lot of danger in my life and my daughter's. And we almost none of us made it. So the complications that happened during the birth, when I went to the birth, this woman, instead of taking me to the birth room, she started to inject me with sleeping medication because the doctor went home. It was a Friday evening. The doctor went home and says, you're not going to give birth. So we are coming back tomorrow, inducing you, and you will give birth on Monday, because everything is based on the schedule of the doctors at hospital, not based on what the nature plans for you. And there is no soul that come here to this world that you can force their time of coming. With all the induction we are doing, with all the cesareans that we are doing, and with all the interventions, nobody yet can calculate the time of birth. That is still remains a mystery. So nevertheless, that woman was giving me injection to sleep, to put me to bed when I'm in birth, when I'm giving birth. 3 times I was in pain, screaming and rolling in my room. She wouldn't take me to the birth room. She would come every hour back, giving me another injection, 3 injections for deep sleep. And that's how my daughter lost breathing, lost her heart rhythm. And me as well, I was almost gone completely. I was shaking and my blood pressure was very low. So they prepared me immediately for an emergency cesarean. When the doctor arrived at 3 a.m., and they saw that the head of the child is out, actually, you cannot give cesarean because you cannot take it back to the channel. So it should go through a natural birth where they put already lidocaine in my spine, and there is no way that you can push when everything is numb. How can you push? This is another thing that is happening every day to every single woman. Nobody talk about it anywhere. So they had to push the belly down and with the suction to take the child out. How many children, Iran, they are born with the suction?
Yeah.
Like 1 out of 2 or more, 3 out of 4. So it's just daily routine at the hospitals. So she had 5 centimeters of edema in the brain. And the suction is in the eye. So the left eye was heavily damaged, which created weakness and strabismus in the left eye. For 6 months, her left eye was completely brown and red all around this part. And the 5 centimeter edema, that is not small. Do you know the damage that is done on the neurological system? We were lucky to be alive, but as she started to grow, we realized that the development has some issue, because now she had, first of all, this something that is called intermittent strabismus. That is not a strabismus because it's not genetically, it's not coming from anyone into the family. Nobody had this story before in none of our families. It comes that in some moments the eye cannot align properly. So then a part of the intermittent strabismus, that the eye cannot align and I cannot focus, then there is more difficulties in the moment of speaking. We were speaking 5 languages with her. She understood everything perfectly. But we realized that, okay, when she's 4 years old, she still has difficulty to pronounce and to say the words, and she doesn't speak. So from kindergarten, they called us that actually this child is very different than other kids, even if she looks very normal, but she's very different than other kids, because not only she doesn't speak, she also have difficulties to take the pen in her hand, and she doesn't want to sit in the classroom. She wants to be always in the playground. So they said at the private kindergarten that there are 22 children, 2 teachers, 1 psychologist, and 1 assistant for 22 kids. We don't have a space for her. We can't hold her energy. You need to take her to the public school. And I went to the public school and asking where is the space when the kids need to go, right? What is designed for the kids with the special needs? And they made the evaluation. 4 therapists, they were making evaluation with the Spanish language. And Nirvana's, her birth language at the time was English. She would repeat all the words, understanding in Spanish. She would repeat everything they said in English, the name of the animals and the colors with the questions they were asking. So they evaluated first her development 18 months when she's 4.5 years.
Yeah.
And they explained to me that they need to evaluate her really delayed in order to get the maximum help. And also the way of evaluation is very old, outdated system that you have 3 or 4 square boxes that you need to tick, and everything out of this, they cannot tick it. So that's the system for evaluation. That's how you get diagnostic.
Well, this is very backwards, really. It's very
and it's happening now. 2 months ago.
Yeah.
That's how they do diagnostic. And then they refer you to public school. In public school, there are 22 or 25 kids with 1 teacher only and no assistant. And then I said, okay, so how come at private school with 4, they couldn't have this kid? And now here you don't have any assistant. So they are going to send 3 therapists, half an hour per week. So that's the maximum help. If you have evaluated someone so much behind with such a great state of need, that's the maximum help. Then I started to look around to see if there is specialized system and organization for this kind of kids. And I spoke with different parents that they have kids that are diagnosed with developmental delay or autism or ADHD or something. And all of them have to go through the same system. Not only in Spain, in many countries, they have the same thing. I was desperately looking for a place, but I didn't want my child to go through this system, of course, because they need to be in nature. They need to be in connection with the nature to constantly ground their energy. Their soul is very expanded, very big. These kids are highly intelligent, highly expanded, and it takes time for them to land in the physical body. So I spoke with the father of a boy who is now 20 years old, and this child in the UK, he's been diagnosed with autism and ADHD when he was Nirvana's age, and now he's 20 years old. He is in a caring home. So when he was he was at his teenage because they were giving him a lot of medication. The mother couldn't take it anymore. The mother left. The father became drug addict, so the father couldn't look after him. Took it to the grandparents. It come a time that the child become aggressive with so much drugs that the grandparent couldn't look after him, and then he is in a nursing home. And 2 nurses come and together, and they change shift. So what kind of a system is that? What kind of a future are you promising to these kids? To drug them, to take them? This is the type of system that we are having. And he was saying, my child is so lucky to be among 1% to go to a nursing home. Because the others, they don't have this opportunity.
Let me ask you something there. On this particular case with this English child, are you saying that the autism expanded to such a rate that he needed it because he was given drugs, or was this
because of the medications?
Medication turned him
ADHD. Okay. Yes, he became very aggressive, and those are the side effects of the medication.
Of course,
because the child is not understood, and a lot of this autism, they have also problem with the speaking, and then we have a great range of non-speaking autism. And there is a podcast called Telepathy Tapes on Spotify. I recommend everybody to listen to this, because the parents, if you're a parent of autism or you're in connection with any kind of neurodivergent kids, please listen to this, because there is a neuroscientist in United States that hears constantly the parents are telling that their non-speaking autism child is doing telepathic communication with them. So as the number is growing, they started to do scientific studies on these kids. And for a great number of kids, they run these scientific studies and they confirmed all of them have telepathic abilities, which is amazing. So something that is completely ignored, like their gifts is completely ignored because we put them into the structures that they don't fit in. If they are sitting in the classrooms that with the light that is not suitable, without the natural light, and is crowded, they are highly sensitive. Their nervous system is highly sensitive. They pick up the emotion of every other ones, and they make this their own emotion. As if it was their emotion, because their energetic field is so expanded, they don't know that this is not my emotion. If you speak with the parents, all of them are telling you they have such a great heart, they are so loving, they are so caring, but they don't know what is their emotion and what is not theirs. So they pick up those emotions and they respond to those emotions in the environment. And that's why they cannot thrive in the current system, in the current structures that we have. Then we compare them with others. And we say, okay, so this one is good in mathematics, but the other one is not good in mathematics. So that one is stupid, right? And then we put a label on them. So there is something wrong with that one who is not. But that one is a genius in music, is a genius in art. You know, they have amazing artistic abilities. So a part of the telepathic abilities, if you listen to the podcast to see what science tells today about these kids, you will be amazed. And now, as my own experience, Nirvana is the soul who trained me into the healing modality that we have been able to help thousands of patients with so-called incurable disease, thanks to her soul. But only because I'm a mother who channels from her soul and can receive this information, I can understand what this soul brings to this planet. What about other mothers who don't have this tool? Those kids are misunderstood. And mothering a child who is neurodivergent is a very difficult task because this is not one child. It's like 5 to 10 child inside one. And all of you who are mothering or parenting neurodivergent, you know what I'm talking about. Everything is different. I was teaching conscious parenting courses for so many years at my academy. When I became a mother of a neurodivergent, I had to take courses myself to educate myself how to set boundaries, healthy boundaries with these kids. And none of them works because if they don't speak, it's very hard to put boundaries, you know? So they need a complete different system, a system that is not existing yet, a system that we are building as a bridge for the future of these kids. Now, she brought to this planet a healing modality, a multidimensional healing modality that is helping thousands of people who get a death sentence from the doctor to come back to life, healthy and happy and energetically. As I have been practicing this on her and so many other patients and training so many therapists, she is the one training the therapist. She is the one choosing them and bringing them to the therapy. So their ability is beyond this world. You know, I can tell you one example of just understanding who your child is, because this is their message that they want me to deliver to you today. One of my clients, some years ago, 2 years ago, she contacted me because she had breast cancer. And doctors told her 5 days before she contacted me that she has breast cancer. She goes home, she's crying. She refused to receive chemotherapy and surgery. And when she's crying, she's sitting on the sofa. She saw a 3-year-old girl appearing in front of her. And the girl started to tell her, you need to eat this and that, avoid this food and do this and to go to forgiveness. So every day at certain hour, the girl is appearing for 5 days, giving her indications. On the 5th day, she says, now you are ready. You have to go to my mother. And this woman is asking, who is your mom? She says, you have been at her seminar. So the woman contacted me to come for a session. And she asked me, do you have a 3-year-old child? And back then, when I was 3. And I said, how do you know that? She says, she was contacting me every day, appearing in front of me. Not only her, I have thousands of stories of my patients that they share. They already been in contact with her before they come to me. And I
Right.
thought I'm the only one until I listened to the telepathy tapes, and I understood I'm not the only one. There are so many of these gifted, talented kids in the world that are doing this amazing job and bringing these gifts and are misunderstood, unfortunately. So what we realized after the system was completely closed, I was disappointed. What can I do for my daughter? On that weekend, I also saw something very important, that day, but the psychologist at her school wanted to speak to me and said that they cannot accept her for September course, and she's very much delayed. And then I got an appointment with the therapist to make the evaluation. I was very sad and saying, what is happening to my life, and it's very difficult to hold all of this together. And when I picked her up from kindergarten to go to the doctor appointment, she became a complete, in her worst situation, A 5-minute walk from where I parked the car to the clinic of the doctor was a huge fight and battle. She wanted to enter every playground on the way. And as she's big, now she's kicking me. She doesn't collaborate. She doesn't want to go to the doctor. We couldn't sit in the doctor clinic. She was throwing everything. It was wild. And I didn't know how to hold the space for that. So that day, that night, I left her with her dad, because that weekend she was with her dad. And I went to a retreat and to just go within and channel and meditate and see what is happening. And that weekend I connected with her. And she teach us how to do healing for these kids. With 2 of my advanced therapists, we created a Trinity chamber, healing chamber, with a very high frequency. And we placed her consciousness in the middle. And they took us to the source of creation. And they showed, actually, there is a genetic reprogramming that needs to be done with these kids. Not all of them come with genetic issues, but 65% they explained to us that are misdiagnosed. Okay, and there was a specific chromosome in their in their DNA that we needed to reprogram. Now, I have done a lot of DNA reprogramming because we had so many COVID vaccine side effect patients that we saw what is happening to chromosome 37. Before this was scientifically published, we saw what was happening in the etheric healing chamber. So when it came to nirvana, we saw that actually there was a chromosome that was mistuned. We needed to attune that chromosome. We needed to balance the tuning of that. And we did that session for her. It was amazing. We learned so much in that session. And when I came back after the weekend, I picked her up completely another child. A child who was obedient, calm, mature. I was like, wow, how could she change so fast? And that was showing me that healing is possible, and so many of them need healing, but not the way that you are doing the healing. And I know you are desperate to help them, and you take them to a system that is unfortunately broken, that doesn't know what to do with them. I take her for a real long time to this psychologist 3 times per week, and then logopathy. None of them works, did nothing for her. 0 improvement. You think that you have improvement because your child is growing. And as they are growing, you feel that you have improvement, but in reality, they don't. The real improvement is to understand the root cause. Where is it coming from? And one of the root cause we have been shown was that DNA reprogramming, that we needed to do that for them. And today in our session, we had today actually with my we had another therapist training group with 10 therapists. They created again these pyramids, interlocked pyramids. And she was in the middle, and so many thousands of souls of non-speaking autism appeared. And they were receiving healing, and they were saying, we are waiting for this to be delivered to the world, because our parents, they don't know what we are going through, and the school system don't know what we come here to offer. They are our teachers. They are highly sensitive, but that is not a curse. That is a gift. And they all say, the non-speaking kids, they say that they can actually speak when we understand what the root cause is. So we had to work on the speaking area in the brain, on the neurons in the brain. And I saw a crazy level of improvement in my daughter in 2 months. Just us with me and my team doing 3 sessions for her in total until now, than everything else we did before.
What is it? You said the chromosome 37. Is this also for the autistic kids? Is it the same?
No, in autistic kids, or neurodivergence, whether with ADHD
Yeah.
or other kind of difficulties, there was a chromosome. Actually, what they showed us in the field, it was a Y chromosome, and the bottom of it was a little bit black, like the frequency was misaligned. And we
Right.
had to remove and rebalance the frequency.
Okay. So we're in a bad education system. The diagnosis system doesn't work. The therapist session doesn't work. So where are you going with this now, Shima? Are you?
First of all, it's important to understand, if you are parents of autism, that they have special gifts. And I know it's very hard to hold them. I know it's extremely hard, but something that you can do at your own home. When you meditate and when you do heart coherence, if you don't know what is heart coherence, read my first book, Infinite Love. I explain 3 chapters about heart coherence. There is thousands of scientific studies from Heart Math Institute about creating coherence between your heart and your brain. And I can give you the exercise now that you can practice. It's very simple. In 2 minutes, you can do that. When you create coherence in your own field, your child pick up from your field. So if you have an autism or ADHD or some children that are difficult to manage, create the coherence in your own heart and watch the miracle in them. Just by creating your own field, balancing your own field, their field will recalibrate itself. Second, do this exercise if you are more advanced or you're meditating, you're used to meditation. Create heart coherence and send that to your child or to that person who you want to send the healing. You don't need to be a healer for that. Any person can do that. If you go to Joe Dispenza's website, he's actually meditation for neurodivergent kids. And there are a lot of video testimonial of parents who did this heart coherence meditation for their neurodivergent kids, and they all improved. And you have to watch that. It is possible. I'm not the only one talking about it. It is scientifically proven. It is possible. So you create coherence for yourself and sending it to your child wherever they are. You just have them in your consciousness and bring them to your imagination, and you hug them energetically and send that coherence to them. That will be the first step. And second, understand that they do not match the system. The current educational system is a broken system. That now doesn't matter if you're a gifted child or if you're a normal child. Now, let's say like the ones who are like more coming to the normal category, that everybody is in the same school. Doesn't matter. Studies shows if you go to school 3 years into the school, 97% of your creativity dies. Only 3 years at a school. And creativity is everything. As a human being, creativity is everything. Your creativity power is the most important power in your life, to navigate life, to have creative solutions, to bring things to the world. You come here as a creative being, constantly create and explore and navigate. That's the purpose to be here. So the current system doesn't work. We need a parallel system. There is no question in that. There are so many parents that are conscious and are taking the kids out of school and they're doing online schooling. Now they are great. They have a great difficulty with the social part of that, because online schooling doesn't offer the social part. We need to come together and create systems. The educational system that is designed for the human consciousness, according to the human energy. Instead of square rooms, square boxes, square mobile phones, square laptops that put you into these square boxes and kill your creativity, we need spaces that are like, if you see in the ancient time, are dome-shaped, that the energy can flow. Your energy can move into that. First, in this space, the light need to be natural. Cannot be these halogen lights, because that really affects the system, the neurological system. We need a different system. So if you are a visionary, you want to build something, join, come, connect with us to build something together, to create a system together. I have channeled the entire curriculum of the New Earth schools and added in the Infinite Love book, my first book. So we can send the link in the below, and you can contact me. Bring your vision, bring your ideas together. It's no longer the time to live alone. It's time to live in communities and bring that ideas together and support each other. And also understand that is about the system. If they are going to a system that is not supported, understand that, okay, if you're working and you have no other choice, that they need to have more quiet time. They need to have more screen off time, than other kids. Because there is a lot of stimulation on their nervous system when there are so many hours on the screen. And that need to be considered in their development as well. So being as much time possible outside in the nature, grounding their energy, that's the maximum value you can give to the kids that are neurologically differently wired, to have them in the nature. So if you can have schools that they are most of the time outside instead of inside, or you can take them to different places where they can be in touch with Mother Earth, that will balance their nervous system. If they are barefoot, laying on a tree, or putting their feet on the ground, that will balance their nervous system. And the food is very important. Detoxing. Many of these autism children are the result of vaccination. Heavy metals in their bodies. And you need to detox those heavy metals. You need to take them out of the body for the body to be able to heal itself. So detox is very important. Yes,
absolutely. And with that, have you given me permission to share, Shima?
Sure, please.
Yeah, I wanted to just jump in there because you see, I'm a bit different. Well, actually, I think you're a little bit like this as well. I like the science, but I like the spiritual side as well. And I can see a correlation. Most people either believe one and the other, but I'm like you, your spiritual talent showed you about chromosome 37. So, I mean, this is perfect. There's a science behind what the information that you're channeling. And this is the way that you can absolutely maximize the information that you can do by using both. So I've done some research. 1975, there's 1 in 5,000 children that had autism, that were diagnosed with it, okay? So a lot of that could have been misdiagnosing, didn't know what it was. What the hell is this? Okay, so we can give you some of that. By the 1980s, it is 1 in 2,500, so it's doubled. Yeah. By 1992, it's 1 in 500, again, doubled. And then it's by 2001 in 150, same in 2002, 2004, but look at the numbers by the time we get up to date here. By 2022 is 1 in 32. So from 1975, 1 in 5,000, now it's 1 in 32. So it's every 32 children, there's one autistic. In 1975, 1 every 5,000 children. So I've tracked this data for a long time, okay? So what's the big jump? Let's go down to what the vaccination rates are, which goes down there. Then it breaks it down into what sex, what nationality, what race. So we're going to go down here again. Now, in the late 1970s, there was 3 different types of vaccination: diphtheria, polio, and measles. Okay, MMR. But they only had about 60% of the population of kids were taken them. By the 1980s, it goes up. It starts getting more kids by the 1990s. Yeah. So I broke all this down. These are the scheduling for vaccinations. So then I went, okay, Hep T, the birth rate, I got everything else there. So we go down to the very last page here, because this is where I think it's very interesting. Okay. So in 1975, by the time you were 18 years old, you'd had 10 shots, 10 vaccinations, your entire life, from 0 to 18. So you had polio, DTP, measles. There were no boosters in teenagers yet, right? So 10 entire vaccine shots was the normal. In 1990, it had climbed to 15 to 18 shots. They'd added hepatitis B, and they'd also added a couple of other ones. But let's jump forward to 2026. The average but is 70 to 75 vaccinations by the time you're 18. From 10 to 75, so it's a 7 times higher. This includes
Mm.
flu shots, boosters, and of course
Mm.
the dreaded COVID-19 shot. Now you can really get into a lot of these statistical facts and go more
Mm.
if you're inclined that way, but statistics have shown that the increase in vaccination over the years has increased the rate. 1 in 5,000, 1975 to 1 in 35. Come on, that's a massive jump. And all
And
right,
that was only autism.
it's only yet.
Is 1 out of 5 when you bring all other type of labels
I
inside it.
agree. And I think those figures are probably distorted as well because they're not recording it properly. But I will also give
Exactly.
leeway. In 1975, the figures weren't recorded because most people didn't have a clue. If they didn't know
Mm.
what dyslexia was in 1975, they're not going to know this. So it was probably higher. I think that's a reasonable statement. But heavy metal detoxification is absolutely something that I've been recommending dealing with. I've developed some products for that as well, Shima. So you're right on the money with that because the food and water that we're exposed to, our toxic environment, you're now being bombarded with radio waves and frequencies from your 5G, 4G. Now it's coming into 6G, 7G pretty soon. Our lives are exposed to more toxins since they have been since the 1970s. And we know that, although they've noticed things like asbestos in the insulation of walls, and now we don't have lead-free paint, they're poisoning the cornflakes and putting shit in the Coca-Cola.
Mm.
So it's unfortunately this is part of life. It's a toxic world, and you have to protect yourself from it. But when you talk about children and giving them the best possible run at it, I think your advice here, Shima, is treat them as very special, gifted kids. A lot of
Mm.
parents feel it's a burden. I know it's heck extra work and it's absolutely more challenging than most of us that haven't had that experience can believe. I've witnessed autistic kids how difficult it is to get them in the bath or get them dressed or get them to school. And because they're so small and they get so furious, you really don't know what to do. You cannot break through that barrier of
Mm.
anger and confusion and kicking and
Mm.
tantrums.
Mm.
So your idea is very, very interesting, Shima. Are you going to publish this? What's the next step for if there are any adults out there, any parents out there who have this similar problems? How can your knowledge help them now? What's the next stage?
Yes, so there are several ways we can help these children. The first way is to remember to create coherence in your heart that we are going to learn now. I'm going to take you through a 5-minute practice how to create that heart coherence. And do this every day for your child. You're going to feel a huge improvements.
Okay,
And
that's great.
also, if you have these children that you don't have any help, you can get help from our team to have sessions. But also, the problem is that currently our time is limited. Like my own agenda is 6 months ahead blocked. So when it comes to reaching out to more people, I'm training more therapists every day to have this modality to bring it to the entire world that more and more people can learn how to heal at the core level, to go to the root cause and heal. But what you could do, if you could reach out to us and we will schedule you session, or if you don't have the financial support or you cannot do that, we could bring it to our basically practitioners who are learning every day. They are going to put their names and they're going to do meditation on them, and they're going to send heart coherence and do some channeling for you. That would be something that we do according to your capacity, as much as we can do as a contribution to these kids, to support them. And also, if you would like to support this movement, you would like to support us, you can join us because we can create a foundation. Because obviously, I can't have all the therapists working for free supporting the kids. But if there is a foundation, we can
Yeah.
bring funding to that, and then we can start bringing more people learning this modality and helping these kids. So there are multiple ways you can do that. We're going to start with yourself, creating coherence and meditation, because every time that you regulate your own nervous system,
Hmm.
you are regulating their nervous system. That's the minimum thing you can do for them. And understanding you can't be a parent doing any good for your kids if you're overwhelmed. And it's very easy to be overwhelmed. It's
Yeah.
understandable to be overwhelmed. It is very hard. And you have all the right in the world to be overwhelmed. It's natural reaction of your body and nervous system. I personally went through 3 burnout after giving birth. So that's not a joke. It's not a joke. But I learned through that. One thing that you choose again and again, you go through the fire, you get forged in the fire, like
Yeah.
the phoenix,
Forged.
but
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
choose love
Hard
because
to
it
do
is
when you're
always a
under
choice.
pressure. It's very difficult to do. So the meditation is going to be very important. I mean, curious to see where this one is going to go. Are you going to do that now?
Yes, we're going to do that now.
Okay.
And
I'm going to turn my
also,
camera off as usual because I've got my own little technique to join you.
it
So
yes, it will be on a speaker view, so don't worry.
yeah, yeah, no, but I like to just let you do it. So that if I turn my camera off, you're nice and big on the screen.
Yes, perfect. Okay, so let's do this heart coherence meditation. First, I explain the steps. It's very simple. You are slowing down your breathing rhythm. You can do that by counting inhale for a count of 4, hold for a count of 4, exhale for a count of 4, and hold again for a count of 4. That's one way to slow down your breathing rhythm. Or you can simply close your eyes and command to your mind and to your body, to your lungs, say mentally, slow down, slow down. Both are valid, are very easy ways that you can do that and really slow down your breathing rhythm. You're placing your hand over your heart, bringing your attention to your heart by touching your heart with your hand. And in that moment that you're breathing deeply and slowly, you're setting the intention to create coherence in your field, in the communication between your heart and your mind. And when you create that coherent field, you can send that coherence to your children or to the people that you want to do healing for them. But first, you need to create that coherence within you. Okay? So let's practice together. It's very simple. By HeartMath Institute, there is another additional step that is explained by them in their official publication, that when you are bringing your attention to your heart, you focus on an uplifting feeling like gratitude, love, care, which is also very helpful in order to regulate your nervous system. I personally realize that when I want to bring any type of feeling inside my body, then I'm activating my mind again because I need to think about something, right? So I prefer to just slow down my breathing rhythm and allow my heart to open. And that energy that flows, the side product of it would be a loving energy. So you can try and choose the best method for yourself, whether a 2-step method, which is slowing down your breathing rhythm and focusing on your heart energy and sending it to that person, or slowing down your breathing rhythm, focusing on your heart and creating a loving sensation or emotion or feeling in your body before you send that. Both of them are absolutely valid. Choose the one that works best for you. Okay? So let's do it together. Just sit back, relax, and close your eyes. Take a deep breath in and out. And say mentally to your breath, slow down, slow down. Slow down. Pay attention how your breathing rhythm is slowing down. Inhale with your nose. Exhale with your mouth. Connect with this inner peace feeling that you're experiencing now in your body. And allow that peaceful sensation to go from your heart to every organ of your body. Send that to your nervous system. Send it to your mind, to your eyes, to your jaw muscles, to your hands, your arms, your legs, your feet. Inner peace. You can repeat mentally, inner peace, inner peace. In that peaceful state, imagine two beautiful arms of light are coming out from the center of your chest, holding the person you want to send healing for. Visualize how these arms of light are hugging that person. Connect your heart to their heart. You may see the loving energy goes from your heart in an infinity loop to their heart and coming back to you again. In this moment, you may see their faces becoming more relaxed. A soft smile is appearing on their faces as the nervous system is balancing itself through your nervous system. And you remember there is no separation. We are all interconnected. And remain in that exchange of energy as much as you like. As you stay longer here, you may receive some messages from them. Allow yourself to receive and trust. It's a moment also to forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for all the moment that you didn't know how to handle the situation. And send this loving forgiveness to them as well. Just set the intention to be open to learn. From today, I am open to receive your guidance. And open yourself to that field of telepathy. Understand that these are highly gifted beings. And they are ready to communicate with you. And remember, when you balance your own nervous system, you're balancing them. Now you can take a moment to send this energy collectively to all the children or adults, all the beings that are misdiagnosed, mislabeled, and misunderstood. Bring that compassion and unconditional love for all of them. And see sending that loving energy to each of those beautiful beings. And they are receiving it with a smile. Knowing that in this very moment, you have brought inner peace and a moment of happiness in the life of someone on the other side of the planet. They're opening their hearts and sending you the love back to you. Take a deep breath and receive it. They come here to remind you who you truly are. You are merely a physical being. You're an energetic being. Energy never disappears. Energy is everywhere. Your vessel is not limited. Expand that vessel of awareness, of consciousness. And allow yourself to remember who you truly are. And remember all the challenges that life placed on your way was for this very moment. For you to remember who you are becoming. Set that intention to dedicate every day some moments to connect with yourself, with your heart, and send that loving energy to those beautiful, gifted beings in need. To make this world a better place every day. together. And remembering your challenges to choose love again and again and again. Healing is possible. Liberation is possible. Freedom is possible. Everyone deserves to live equally in an environment that is supporting them. Let's create that environment together in our heart and in our lives. And in this moment, I'm receiving a message from the collective of non-speaking autism children that they want to communicate this with humanity. We are not broken. We are misunderstood. We chose not to speak because we have better way for communication. We came here to raise your vibration and your awareness about other ways of communication. For you to understand that words are a poor translation of reality. You want to define the expansion and vastness of life into 28 letters. That's impossible. But when you go in silence, you open your heart, you realize you have multidimensional abilities. You choose different ways of communication. And we invite you to join us and learn telepathic communication. There would come a day that you would no longer need mobile phones, computers, or other devices to talk with each other from one country to another. All what you need is to remember that you are a telepathic being and activate your telepathic ability. We came to this planet with common mission to raise the awareness of human and help them on their journey of ascension. As the Mother Earth is raising its vibration, shift is happening. And one of the reasons you see day and day more autism and neurodivergent kids coming to this earth is our common mission to help you to expand, to help you to heal. Through our body, we are regulating your nervous system. Our body is expansive and vast. It takes one neurodivergent child in a group of 20 to 30 people to balance the system, the emotional system inside the body of all those kids around. Day by day, more and more gifted kids are coming here. Don't label us with autism and separate us from society and compare us with others. We are different. We chose to be different, and we are proud to be different. We came here as angels to help you to raise your awareness. We have chosen you because we knew that you could do this as our parents, as our take carers. You have been trained for this, to hold that space. It is time to remember this common mission together. We need more and more parents who understand us. Give us this space for our own unique development. Instead of judging us, comparing us, giving us the time, our soul has a very high frequency. Coming into this physical reality requires a lot of adjustment. And our bodies are too tiny and needs time to catch up. Don't look at us as problems, because we come here with solutions to human suffering. Open yourself to receive what each of us brought here to teach through our creativity, in a world that creativity is disappearing. Open yourself. And let's change that position of student and teacher, trying every day to teach us, educate us, and make us to be in a certain way and behave in a certain manner. That we didn't come here for that. We have bigger purpose. Help us for this purpose. We come here with wings. We come here to remind you that you also have wings. This is just the beginning. And we are very grateful for this moment that we have been able to speak through you. And we hope more and more parents will hear these words. As we didn't come here as a problem. You just need to look at us in a different way. Thank you. Take a deep breath. Bring your awareness back to your body. Feel this beautiful golden light is shielding your aura. And is coming down to your body, to your feet, and going down deeply to Mother Earth. You have just now upgraded the nervous system of Mother Earth by simply upgrading your own nervous system. As you walk on Earth, remember you're part of the Earth.
Oh, Shima, that was a very intense one. Well, I think that's going to send some ripples into, especially the parents out there doing that one. There was some very powerful things you said in there. We're just different. We're not different. We're just misunderstood. I was giggling halfway through some of the things you're saying because I can imagine all the little faces and hearts.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly all they are. They're just misunderstood. So
It was the pure channeling, the souls of these kids. It was one of them that came and started to speak on behalf of them.
Yeah.
So it wasn't anything planned. I didn't know what is coming. I didn't even plan to channel that right now. I was just going to give the exercise of heart coherence.
Yeah, the
And
little voice came through, no?
yes, and then the voice came through. So
Yeah, I kind of got that halfway through. I thought this is taking a step in a different direction. So I thought that must be, and then I heard the rest of it. But that's great, Shima. What we'll do is we'll put some links below. If people have got information that they want to share or get from you, all the links are below. And I look
mhm.
forward to hearing more about the results, especially with your own little one.
It's amazing. She's doing very well. It's unbelievable. We are so surprised. She's repeating so many words that she didn't do before. She's making sentences, singing songs. I just bought her a karaoke microphone, and
Yeah.
why I have to hear that the neighbors at 5 a.m. she get the microphone in her hands, and
They probably think it's you.
it's but it's amazing because, like, I hear so many parents, they wish their kids say mommy to them,
Yeah.
and my daughter didn't say mommy until last year, so it's very hard when your child doesn't say that word. And but when you understand the root cause and when you heal, they develop so fast. And I can see from the development of my own nirvana how these kids are able to heal. And that's a promising message for the world and for all those parents who are in pain and who don't know how to deal with these children. The system need to be changed. And we need schools that are based on nature, like forest schools, more and more schools that are not rigid with these curriculums, that they need to sit down if they need to express their energy, if they need to move their energy, because there is too much energy in their body. They need to move all the time.
Yeah.
Instead of forcing them to sit uh, on a chair, you need to allow them to move, because they regulate the energy through the movement inside their body. My little one is spinning like this whirling dervish since she was 1 year old.
Yeah, these are the Turkish dancers that for people that
Yes,
don't know with the dresses that go around the men.
like the Sufis, and she spins all the time.
Let me ask you this, Shima. We haven't covered nutrition, so in the last 5 or 10 minutes, let's just have a quick. Does your little girl eat everything? I mean, I know that you're really strict about eating clean with vegetables and
Mm.
the food that goes in front of her. But does she like everything that you serve her? Is she very picky?
No, it's she's actually very good with eating. So I never forced her food since she was a baby. Everything I offered to her, I listened to the intelligence of her body, whether she wants it or she rejects it. Instead of saying 2 times, I just removed it and I offered her something else. She was completely on vegetarian diet for the first 3 years, because not because I asked her, because she refused. Whenever I brought chicken or meat, she refused to have it. So I didn't force her. When she turned 3, she started having a little bit of chicken, but still with meat, she wasn't good. So
Yeah.
I didn't offer her, fish and seafood she doesn't eat, but it's because when you offer, and then every time, like, she's developing and growing in different stages, I bring different food to see if she likes it, but never ever forced her to eat something that her body's intelligence doesn't want it.
Yeah, this is a problem I hear throughout a lot of the autistic community is that children they're concerned about what they're eating, and a lot of parents they just tend to feed them simple things like fish fingers, for example, or pizza, and I'm like, "Ugh."
That's
Well,
very,
that's the only thing he will eat, or that's the only thing she can,
yeah.
that she'll go for. So it's better than
But
nothing.
it has been introduced,
Yeah, yeah,
like, if never been, I never introduced any type of fast food or any
processed.
type of or processed food to her. So she never
Yeah,
been introduced to that, to have it as a choice.
yeah,
Everything was natural, introduced to her organic food, homemade, prepared food. Then she could choose between those options.
yeah, yeah. And then the schooling is difficult as well because in the school, if they're not prepared to prepare special meals for these
Yes, that's
challenging
also
children.
another
They're
challenge.
just giving them the same old stuff that they give the other kids. But nutrition is a big part of this as well because it's a good approach to, let her choose what she wants. I know one of
Mm,
my friends has an autistic little boy and he eats a lot of hummus and carrots and celery. He's really good. He eats a lot of
mm,
things like that. But he has spent a fortune, and I'm not talking 5,000, I'm talking probably 200,000 on the entire house's water filtration system to get rid of heavy metals and with a very
mm.
super high-tech monitoring system. And his little boy has jumped a lot since then, have cleaned up his diet. But when he was born,
The
I
water
said,
is very important as well. Absolutely.
I,
Everything that we put in our body is very important. So you can charge the water if you don't have so much money to invest on the water and on water filtration. You can charge your water. You can place crystals inside your water. You can use sacred geometry. You see behind me, this is the sacred geometry of infinite love. And you can send me a text. I will send you PDF version so you can print it. This is a healing medbed and is highly protective. You can print it and put it under the bed of your kids or yourself and next to your modem. It's really protecting your multidimensional body. And if you place your glass of water over it, it charges the water. It charges the water. It creates structured water for you.
we
So
did an exercise together before with that, I
with
remember.
the sacred water, yeah, that's a
Yeah.
very simple exercise. You and everybody can practice. You just take a glass of water and drink a little bit of it. Keep that taste with you, and then hold your two fingers like this and say sacred water, and feel that the energy of the water is coming to your hand. So your hand is becoming heavy and cold because water is like heavy and cold. And once you have that feeling, you pour this energy inside your glass of water. Repeat that 2, 3 times, then drink that water. You will feel immediate shift in the taste of the water you're
Yeah,
drinking.
I've tried that. It does work. It's true.
Mhm.
It's true. Well, Shima,
Immediately changes.
what another interesting chat we've had. We'll put the links below inside there. If anybody has any questions, you can contact Shima there. And I guess, is there anything else you'd like to add before we wrap it up?
No, just wanted to bring this awareness and this message that wanted to come true that there is hope and understand that they need a different system. So if you want to join to create a different system, join together, build communities. We are moving toward creating communities. We no longer, like 5 years from now on, you will see more communities and people are living in the communities together. More connected with the nature, growing our own food, having our own way of exchange and politic and our own way of economy. This is coming. It's it's the future. It is coming. We are going back to our roots.
Yeah, we
So
need
we
it
need
as
to
well.
start building systems for these kids who are guiding us, who are more in the nature. So if you are a visionary, if you are an entrepreneur who want to do something for these kids, knowing that your child didn't choose you randomly, chooses you to activate a mission in you.
I agree. Well said, Shima. Thank you very much for that amazing chit chat today we had. And all of that information, there's so much in there that these parents, I'm sure they're going to find it extremely helpful. And it
Thank
just would
you,
teach you
David.
more about your patience levels as well. The knowledge is king, as they say, or queen, depending on who you are. And we'll see you very soon. Yeah.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for listening to us today and for David creating this space. It was an honor again to be here with you.
My
Thank
pleasure,
you.
Shima. We'll see you very soon. Bye bye, everybody.
Bye bye.